Welcome to the Travel Ones podcast. Today, my guest is Bobby Mesmer. He's part of RMG Contractors, Erectors, really a serial entrepreneur. So we'll have to get into how many different businesses and things you have going on. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here in California, LA, enjoying the weather. You know, a little bit nicer than back at home in Nashville. So.
Maybe a little less muggy.
A little bit less muggy, a little bit less humid. So yeah, it's good. Always like to be here.
I just dealt with the mugginess of Dallas last week.
Oh, it's brutal down there.
It's 150% humidity.
Yeah,
it's
terrible. I don't even know how people survive down there.
Yeah, it happens.
It does happen.
So what is RMG and kind of the background of how you've started?
Yeah, so RMG Erectors and Constructors, we're the world's largest pre-engineered steel erection company, and we're also the only vertically integrated steel company in the pre-engineered building sector. What does that mean, right? Everybody's like, what's pre-engineered steel buildings? Like, I have no idea. So basically the Dollar Generals of the world that you see popping up everywhere, the Family Dollars, the O'Reilly Auto Parts, they're all pre-engineered buildings. So it's a building that's truly manufactured in a manufacturing facility, 100% brought out to the field, and then we erect it. And what we're doing now is we're actually controlling that entire process, where we're engineering it, we're detailing it, we're actually manufacturing it through manufacturing resources that we have, still erecting it, and then producing final warranty. And these are buildings that are 5,000 square feet up to 1 million square feet. We do industrial buildings, airplane hangars, warehouses. Yeah, so there's a lot there, and and we've been doing this for 24 years now.
Well, how many different states do you have buildings in?
All the lower 48.
Okay.
Yeah.
So part of my business travel, that's why you have to know. I mean, do you have to have a contractor's license for each, or do you do a separate do you get a separate general contractor for each facility, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we are a subcontractor. So we work for the GCs and the developers. We work for them direct. Contractor licensing, it's state by state, town by town. So we have to know. We have in-house counsel who handles that kind of stuff. Depending on the states we go into. California, for instance, you have to have a contractor's license here. Florida, depending on the county, different contractor's licenses that you have to have. So yeah, you got to keep the compliance piece of it. You got to keep up, especially working as many states you are. You don't want to get in trouble.
I couldn't even imagine that. As a past contractor, just in California, I would hate to have had to be concerned with all the different GCs.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's a lot just like insurance, right? Yeah. There's 5 monopolistic states in the country, which means you have to get the workers' comp direct from those states. So like you have to deal with that. You have to have the proper workers' comp and general liability in each state, even though we have a national policy. It's written specifically. I mean, we pay millions of dollars in insurance a year, millions, and just to operate. And so the compliance side of the business is a lot. And when you get as big as we are, it's a game changer, and if you don't have the right people in place, you're going to go out of business really quick.
Obviously, that's a key component, is having the right people.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
How difficult is that, being based back east and then having people everywhere? How difficult is that?
Not as hard as you would think, right? It's a matter of how you go about it. We have an office in Missoula, Montana. We have one in Sewell, New Jersey, and then we have another one in Franklin, Tennessee, just south of Nashville. We just opened up an office in San Jose, Costa Rica, as well, which is our engineering office. Oh, wow. And but like all of our crews are dispatched out of southern New Jersey, and we send them all over the country to do the erection from there. We found that to be more simple. From our standpoint,
instead of having them
located all over the country, because it's logistics, right? Like, you're managing logistics at that point. It's a matter of how you look at it. Some people might look at it and say, well, this is easier to do because they're there. I rather send them out because then I can control, like, they're my company trucks. We service our own trucks right at our shop in New Jersey. We do the oil changes. We manage all of that stuff. We manage the equipment, what they need. It sends out with them. So for us, it was an easier solution to say, we're going to dispatch everything out of this one location. And then it's a matter of how you manage that network of people, right? So they're all paid employees. We don't sub any work out.
Not 1099s.
No, they're not 1099s. That's a quality control thing. So we wanted to control that so we don't lose control of the people or the job, produce the best quality product that we can. And then at the same time, it's a management of, like, how you have superintendents and project managers that are managing those individual crews on the jobs, and it's really the setup that you do, and you try to set yourself up for success. You maybe hit a wall here and there, learn from it, figure out what you got to change, make the change.
How many crews do you have? Do you try and keep them together?
So yeah, we try to once you're together in a crew. Normally, a crew is about 6 guys.
Yeah.
So we're upwards of 200 people, I think, right now. And so an average crew is about 6 guys. Some crews are doubled up, so you'll have two 6-man crews.
Yeah.
We operate one of the things about the business that I wanted to change was everybody goes into a job with a 6-man crew, and they put up all the steel, they panel the building, they roof it, they insulate it, they trim it, they walk away. Same crew doing all that,
Right.
but they're circling back, right? So we started looking at it, and I was like, I'm going to do this a little bit different.
Different stages.
Well, yeah. So we have specific crews that are just panel crews, specific crews that are just roofing crews. So we're attacking three different resources or 3 different trades on the job on any given job. So we might have 18 or 20 guys on a job that are doing a multitude of different things, 3 different tasks, and what we're doing is compressing the schedule. It's like an assembly line.
Yeah.
Is what we looked at it like.
Obviously, that took years, if not decades, to kind of figure out that system.
It did.
I don't know if you want to talk about your racing background, because I know you retired from it, but that's kind of the same deal. And then now you're doing the airplane and black car, and then you have the apparel. Is it kind of the same mentality for all of them, or you're?
I would say yes. I think it all starts with the same mentality. I think, it's funny, all these other businesses branch off. To call myself an opportunist, I don't know if that's the right thing.
It's a good word, though.
It's a good word, right? And what it does is I look at opportunity, and I look at things that, like with the black car service, everybody uses a black car service, right?
Yeah.
Like Uber's really big, or if you're going to town, you use a black car service. How many times have you been stranded? And I had a dedicated black car guy that stranded me at the airport a couple times. And so I'm like, screw this, man. I'm like, I could do this myself. This is not that hard. Like in comparison to what I do every day, I'm like, buy some cars, put a couple drivers in it, and get out there and do it. And so I figured out a system, and I figured out a way to do it better. And that's what we did. And poof, business is there. It's the same thing with the apparel business. The apparel business came into effect because the guy that we're using to do our apparel for us, we're 50% of his business annually because I'm such a big company, and I couldn't get what I needed. So I'm like, I'm buying you. And, and hence, poof, an apparel company's created. And then it's just a matter of looking at the business and saying, all right, how do I extend upon it? Like, I have this thing. What do you do?
Yeah.
And like, where do you take it? Do I leave it stagnant, or do I continue to grow it? And most people are comfortable with just leaving it the way it is because they're making some money. They're doing what they have to do. For me, I'm like, let's make this into something
and get better
and make it better. And then maybe I roll it out. Maybe I don't. Who knows? But right now it's serving a purpose for us. And that's how we do it.
So what's next? I'm trying to think of all the different. I mean, you can get into tools, anything that, vehicles. Yeah, you already got the private plane. You get,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm on the path right now. We're RMG is probably going to get sold in the next 5 years. We're on that path. I'm not quite sure if it it'll definitely sell. The problem is it's becoming so big. It's going to very limit my pool of people that are going to be able to buy me. I mean, we're looking at a $4.5 billion valuation, is what we're looking at. And that's a big valuation. There's not a lot of companies that have the horsepower to buy and then to continue to grow. So it's a matter of getting connected.
Do you piece it out, or it's all going to be?
No, I think I would keep it all together because that's the value of it. The growth that we're doing with the company and the way we're structuring it puts it in a position where a bigger company like a BlackRock or Blackstone would come in and they would probably IPO it and platform it, and then and then start buying up other people. So we're working on that now. We just are putting together a plan to do. We're going to start doing roll-ups. Okay. Start buying up our competition across the country to kind of develop that and see where it goes. What's next after that? We are starting a private equity company that's going to be investing in other businesses. And 2 types of investment is what I'm looking at. I'm an operational expert. I'm very, very good at stepping in the companies, helping them, looking at them, analyzing them, and telling them where they're having problems and helping them restructure and grow. So I want to kind of do that for other people. I like to help that. I just did it recently with a company back in January who was struggling. I mean, he was on the verge of closing his doors, and he just texted me a month ago, and he's got a $1.5 million excess in reserve now by following a plan that I gave him after sitting down with him for like 3 hours.
How good does that feel, though?
Feels amazing.
I mean, that's I mean, everyone wants to make money, but when you actually get to help somebody, and then you see it.
Yeah, that's what feels amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what gave me the idea to start the private equity thing. So we're in the middle of starting that, and that's going to put us into a position where companies that are having hardship that need help, I want to come in and I want to be able to buy them or invest in them, reorganize them, and help them get lifted back up. Kind of like Shark Tank-esque, but not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to come in and control the company, but unfortunately that's what happens. But I do want to come in and help them. I want to see that success. I love the entrepreneurship that people want to have. And I love the entrepreneurship that the dream that people have, and they just don't have the resources. They're not connected with the right people. Everybody's always a taker. And if I can help them in some way, that's really what I want to do. And then the other side of the private equity is investing in real estate stuff. I have a lot of deals right now that I'm on the forefront of investing in, some with some airports, and where my product, the pre-engineered steel product, fits and ties right in. My construction expertise and my operational expertise, bring all that to the table, be a partner in these, build them out, and then flip them.
Talking about regional airports? I mean,
yeah, more regional airport stuff. Yeah. So there's a lot of need in the regional airport world right now, which I realized through having my own private jet and being involved in aviation and obviously building hangars. There's a big need out there, and so much so that private equity is already getting involved. They're buying up Signature Airlines. They're buying up Millionaire. They're so all these privatized companies are now being bought. So clearly there's an avenue there. Yeah. So we're going to start playing inside of that avenue and seeing what we can do with it, which I think will be pretty successful.
Before you bought your own plane, I've had a little introduction into like some of the private planes. There are some airports that don't have jet fuel, and so but private planes, jets can land there and take off, but they just can't refuel and that type of thing. How amazed are you when you fly around now to see, like Camarillo or Santa Barbara and Van Nuys, Burbank, what airports have kind of blown you away?
That's a good question. It's funny. I think it's some of the airports that are just like in the middle of nowhere, and you're like, this thing exists. There was an airport, I forget where we flew into. It was like south of Amarillo, and it was like in the middle of nowhere. They had a beautiful FBO though, like really, really beautiful, but it was owned by the town. But there wasn't even a town there. Like there was an oil refinery right next to it. And the funny story,
that was it right there.
Right? And the funny story about it is that we got the last ounce of fuel out of their fuel truck, and they had none left. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, there's a refinery right next door. I'm like, why don't these guys run a pipeline over here and get some fuel in your truck, guys? Because another jet came in behind us, and they couldn't refuel them. And so we got the last ounce of fuel out of their truck. But that one was really nice. Like it's so many smaller airports that you really fly into. Like you deal with like the Burbanks and all that. Again, nice airport, right? Like there's nothing wrong with it, but you run into these small town like small, like even like in Arkansas, like there was out in Bentonville FBO is really, really nice. It's really nice, And granted, the Walmarts are there, right? So that makes all the difference in the world. But it's still really nice because it's a tiny little airport,
Yeah. I interviewed a business owner who bought a private plane because he did so much work with Walmart, but he hated the commercial end of it, and he could just fly right into Bentonville and get right out.
Yeah. Well, that was the purpose that we bought ours, like being a national company needed access. The commercial aviation world is a mess. I don't care what anybody says. It's a disaster. And if you fly commercial, you see it. You're in it. It's a mess from the second you walk through the doors of the airport all the way until you get off the plane. And I was spending so much money. But this is what it came down to. For me, it's always about an offset, right? Like, what are you looking at? A lot of people are like, oh, private jet's a luxury. No, private jet's a tool. It's a tool. We looked at it, and I was spending over $300,000 a year with American Airlines myself, not including any other executive business travel. And I'm getting nothing for it. Nothing. I mean, they wouldn't even give me concierge key.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I was like,
Should at least have your name on the plane.
something, right? Give me something. I don't care. Like, I just wanted concierge key, and they kept denying me, and I don't know why, but okay, maybe it don't fit their mold. Whatever that means. So
it's the cowboy boots,
right? Maybe it's the cowboy boots. Yeah. So so we bought the jet because when I looked at the operational cost of the jet, it was a very close offset. Basically it's moving money from their column back into my column and having an asset. And that's how I looked at it. So it's a tool. And the amount of hours that we fly, the jet that we own, we fly upwards of 400 hours a year. The average jet owner only flies 100 to 150. Yeah. So at 400 hours a year, we're getting our money back, so it's a necessity.
The 3 business owners I've met that have private planes talk exact same. It's not, well, I'm showing up with my plane. Mm-mm. It's, I need to get here. I need to get over here. I need to get here. Yeah. I don't have to book. I don't have to miss flights. There's no layovers. Mm-hmm. Just clean, get in and out.
I had one customer who owns his own private jet tell me when I was buying mine, he said, don't tell your customers you have a private jet. Yeah. They're going to think that you're making too much money. Yeah. And I analyzed that thought, and I thought about that for a while. And
it's perception, though.
It's perception, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I don't care that people know. Most of my customers know, and they actually love it. Because, for instance, last Thursday, I had some of the top executives from a very big customer of mine in Albany, New York, call me. They wanted to meet me at a project. And they were like, look, we need to get this going. Can you, they called me direct as a CEO, and they're like, can you come up here? And I'm like, absolutely. I literally jump in my jet. I fly up over there. An hour and a half later, I'm in Albany. I'm on the job site. I'm meeting with all the guys. Yeah. We're talking about what's going on. And they literally handed me a contract right then and there, just like that. And that's what the jet buys. It buys that access. And they love it because they know that when they call, I can be there. Right. And that's what they want. They want, you said perception earlier, right? It's about making them feel happy, making them feel comfortable, and knowing that they have access to you. Being a national company, people want access to you. They don't want to feel like you're over here and they're over there, because it's a disconnection that you want to take away.
I don't know. I think most business people understand that you spent $300,000 with American Airlines, so spending that money for your own plane just makes sense.
It does make sense from that standpoint too. Yeah. Yeah. So there's different ways to look at it. Definitely the idea, though, of combining all that. So again, reallocating money and having your customers have access to you, that's a home run all day long.
So how do you incorporate that into the black car service and just...
So we have the access to lease. I mean, we use it too much to lease, but we do have the access to lease it. Yeah. We are buying another jet at the end of this year. We're buying a bigger one, just again for more access, more global access. Having the office in Costa Rica, I need to be able to get there. My current jet can't get there. We're still exploring those continued options on how to charter and what we should be doing. The problem is that we're continuing to utilize more than the access, but we do have that ability, and we're looking at how we can do it. Because the problem I have with charter is, look, and everybody's entitled to make money. It's a free market, right? And I'll never take anybody's ability away to make money, but the charter companies, they're charging so astronomical. It's ridiculous. Like, I just called about a charter the other day to go down to Brazil, and it was like $150,000 one way. I'm like, it doesn't even cost you remotely near that. Yeah. And it's a $50,000 flight cost. So if even if you charge me 80 one way,
you're still making.
Exactly. Yeah. And so where is this coming from? Because I know what the jet cost per hour is with the pilots, with all the, right. I have a jet, so I understand it. And I'm looking at these bigger jets the same as I was looking to charter. And I'm like, it costs me X an hour, and you're charging me this, and it's this many hours. I'm like, holy crap, man, you're charging me like.
But maybe that's where the private equity group company can come in, build up your own private jet company and do it better.
That's a good idea. I should hire you to do some biz dev for me.
Oh, no.
Yeah?
No.
I like that.
I like the boots, but...
Thank you. Tecovas.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, these are my Tecovas. Lucchese has a brand new pair of boots out. I don't know if you saw them. They're really nice. They're like...
Much more affordable.
The Tecovas?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still like my Lucchese's, man. But yeah, these are good boots. If you like boots, I'll tell anybody, buy a pair of Tecovas.
I won't, but yeah.
No? Why not? What's the matter with Tecovas?
I sell Stetson boots.
Oh, well, that's why. Okay, I gotcha. Sorry, my bad. I forgot. Yes.
That'd be like me saying, go Giants. How about the Cowboys this year, right?
Don't even go there. All right.
See?
Fair point. Fair point.
There you go. Out of all the places you visited so far, what's been the most influential city that you visited?
I'm a fan of Boston.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I like the history there.
Okay.
You know, I like the city. I like what it's about. It's just, you ever walk in somewhere and you just feel a certain way?
Yeah.
You know, like you connect with certain things. Boston is like that for me. You know, I have a lot of good memories there. My wife and I, one of our like second dates, I jet setted her, up to Boston, and we had a really great time, and it was a great experience. So I have that memory. So, and it's just a great town, all in all, and the people are great, and I really love it. So I really connect there.
How long does it take you to get used to the accent?
I don't know you can ever get used to the accent.
I have a friend that lives here, and she's lived here for 35 years,
Mm-hmm.
and her R's are just terrible. Quad on.
Listen, I have an accent right now myself, right? Everybody's like, where are you from? Like, and they're trying to piece it. I'm like, I'm a South Jersey boy. So they're like, I got it now.
Exactly. But so if you're a Jersey boy, how did you end up being an Eagles fan?
Well, so South Jersey. Remember, you got North Jersey and South Jersey. South Jersey belongs to the Eagles. North Jersey belongs to the Giants and the Jets. So the I-95 corridor is that break, and really like anybody in North. So it's funny, everybody in like Mercer County and like that central part of New Jersey, they say they live in South Jersey. And I'm like, you do know there's like 5 other counties below, right? Like, and everybody's like, there is, Yeah. So everybody forgets about us. We're the true Garden State down in the South area. All the farms are down there. So yeah. But that's how we belong. We get tied into the Philadelphia Metropolitan, and I'm proud to be tied into that. So diehard Eagles fan all my life. You can't go wrong. Yeah. The Eagles. You grow up as a kid, right? You grow up. You watch these teams, you bleed and you cry over them and what they're doing. Same thing with the Phillies, and you're just, you're in it. And last year it was a letdown, right? Last year, we talk about sports for a second. Last year was a letdown, but we still love them.
A letdown. You know what a letdown is? A letdown is being a Chargers fan and getting a ticket to the Chargers Raider game in Las Vegas when I was there for the rodeo, and experiencing the worst blowout in the history of the Charger organization. It's 42-0 at half. It was so bad the Raider fans weren't even making fun of us.
They felt bad for you.
They're bad.
They are bad. They are bad. I hear you.
Letdown. You made it to the bowl.
Well, yeah, but we lost 7 of our last 8 games of the year when we were number 1 in our division. I mean, come on, you're talking about 1 game. We lost all 7.
It's not that bad.
Jeez, you might as well hit us with a truck at that point, I mean,
they can't be all Super Bowl years.
Why not?
Well, it's just the way it works.
Oh, that's the demands that we make in
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah. Thank you, Andy Reid.
Exactly.
Came in, did a pretty good job. Left, goes to the Chiefs, does a really good job. So,
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Good old Andy, man. He's a good guy, though.
How are the Eagles going to do this year?
They're looking good. I have high hopes. They made good moves in the offseason. They look good. I went to 2 of their preseason practices, and I watched a couple of their preseason games. And from my perspective, I think they look good. I mean, I'm not a sports analyst in any capacity, but, so you're asking the wrong guy from that standpoint.
All I can tell you is I took a bath on the Eagles 2 years ago because I was at the media days for the Super Bowl, and I asked very well-known people in the industry who I should bet on, and they all said, you got to go with the Eagles. You got to go. Jalen's a 3rd running back, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right. So I literally went up on Saturday before the game. I was in Vegas for something else. I laid down some money on the Eagles and lost it all.
I think I lost money that year, too. So you're not alone. I mean, I want to feel bad for you, but I can't, because you're not the only one.
I'm sure.
I think
right now I'm the only one that counts. So
right.
I don't know how.
So who are you going with this year then?
Ooh. Not the Chargers.
Okay.
They're my team. I mean, I grew up in San Diego, so Dan Fouts, Don Coryell.
Mm-hmm.
They're a letdown. Wow. Kind of hard to go against the Chiefs. You hate to say it. I hate to say it because they're AFC West.
Yeah.
But the Eagles, because they got Barkley now, he's my Penn Stater, so I kind of like him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No, you don't know, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are a great contender. Everybody's talking about it.
Injuries obviously matter to everything.
Here's the thing. It's about the season, right? If we can stay healthy through the first half of the season, the second half will roll through. I think our schedule favors us a little bit this year. So I think that's a positive. So yes, if they can stay healthy, I think we'll have a really good shot.
Beat the Cowboys.
That's easy.
That's as much as I like the Chargers, I grew up hating the Cowboys.
Everybody hates the Cowboys.
My dad's friend was he was running back for Arizona State, and he got drafted. And I was like the only NFL player I ever met in my life. I was like, oh my God, Freddie's going to be on. Like, he got drafted by the Cowboys in '76, or maybe '77. And then they cut him because they had drafted another running back that same year named Tony Dorsett. And they decided to keep Dorsett, and they cut my friend. So I've hated them since I was a kid.
So that's the only reason?
That's the only reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, not because of rivalry or anything.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, it's a rivalry.
Well, yeah.
But
I was AFC West.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you don't have that rivalry.
The Raiders, terrible. Broncos, terrible. And Chiefs are terrible. AFC West teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you going to travel to any of the games? Do you kind of make that kind of your... or just do home games?
Well, I definitely do most of the home games. So being a partner of the Eagles this year, so I have, we got some seats and all that with that. Unfortunately, I still don't have a suite, so but I'm still trying. So
there's time.
There is time. I am going to their Brazil game, which is the opening season where they're playing Green Bay. So I'm going down there. That's September 6th. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll probably travel to a couple other games. I have to check and see some of their away games, but because I have the access to, right? That's what we create, and to be there and support and see some of these other stadiums and cities and see a game there, I think,
How much international, are you looking international yet, or are you just going to try and stay continental?
We are.
I mean, other than Costa Rica, I mean.
Yeah, so we are. We're actually, 2025, we're expanding into Canada and Central America.
Okay.
So we have that dual expansion going on for 25, and when I say Central America, it's all Central America. So we're gonna hit, obviously Costa Rica, we already have a presence there. Panama, we'll hit Mexico. So so we're doing a big expansion there. We'll probably hit some of the Caribbean areas because there's a lot of work there to be done.
Yeah. Just with the Erectors, with the steel buildings.
Yes, just with the steel building side. Yeah, the other businesses don't really make a lot of sense to move down into there.
With Canada, it kind of makes sense. You could still probably send your crew from New Jersey up to Canada, but Costa Rica and Panama, you might have to get a couple crews down there.
Yeah, we're working out those logistics now. I'm not sure what that looks like, So Mexico's easy, but we'll probably have to develop crews, which is probably what we'll do. We'll probably go down there, look at the local resources, and it's one thing as a company to come in and push your people into that area. It's another thing to help cultivate the people that are there and work with the government, work with the local people, and be a partner to the country. And that's what we want to be. Like when I went down to Costa Rica and opened up the engineering office there, our goal was ultimately to have 100, 200 engineers working down over there. It's an engineering mecca.
Yeah.
Johnson Controls moved down over there. There's a lot of other major manufacturing companies that have engineering hubs that have moved down to there. So one of the things that we did was we looked at what everybody else was doing first. And then I said, all right, I'm doing it different. And everybody's like, why? Yeah. And I'm like, because I can and because we should. Let's go down here and be a better partner to the people. Let's not look at it and be the company that comes in and takes advantage of those markets, because that's what some of these other people do, right?
Yeah.
So they're coming in and they have different economies, so the different pay scales, so they don't make as much, and they're paying them less than paying people. And it's not about paying less. Like, we're going down there and we're actually paying our engineers double what they're making anywhere else down there, and that's on purpose.
But is that relative to how's the pay down there compared to here?
It's significantly less. It's probably a third from what other people are paying. Yeah. So by us paying them double, it gets them up to
still
in that range. Still below what we're doing, but it's also we're getting a higher caliber of engineer in my mind too. So I want to continue to work them up to make them to have them earn more money. You know, like I don't want to hold them there, right? Like, and that's the thing. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like you talk about companies that move to Mexico, right? Like when everybody's like, well, the company's moving to
Saving
Mexico
dollars.
because of
Labor
pay
rates.
and all that, and that is some of it. Like that is some of it. They're moving also too because of work ethic and other issues, right? There's other things
Yeah.
in there. You have to look at it globally. You can't just look at one segment as to why companies are moving. But to go down to a company or to a country like Costa Rica and say, all right, well, here's what we're going to do. So immediately day one, I'm paying everybody double what they were already making. So come to work for us. We're going to give you, you know, I want to create a better quality of life for you.
So they're all happier.
They're all
They
happier.
work hard.
Right.
They
They're going to
show
work.
up.
They're going to work the same way that they've always worked,
Yeah.
which is a harder and better work ethic. And that's what you're tapping into is the work ethic. You know, I have people that you know, we have a couple of engineers down there that are kind of new to this, and we're still paying them double. And because we're investing our efforts and resources
Sure.
and
For the
time and
future.
training into them, and that's the difference, you know. Like that's the difference I believe that I'm making, and that we're making as a company into this area is that I think is really important.
When is enough enough?
It's never enough. It's
Well,
never enough, and I'll tell you why. It's a really good question because you know it's
because you don't need to do all this.
I don't not anymore.
You could kick and wear your Tacovas and be done.
Yeah, I could.
I mean, so why move? Why go to Brazil? Why go to Costa Rica? Why do?
Um, because so I will always strive to be the best that I can be at anything I'm doing, no matter what it is. And when people tell me I can't, that just only drives me even more to do it. You know, when I race cars, everybody said you can't race cars, and I'm like, why? You're a 6'4", 290-pound guy. You're not a race car driver. I'm like, watch me go.
Well, let's go with horse. You couldn't be a jockey.
I couldn't be a jockey, right? I mean, maybe on a
there are some
Clydesdale, maybe, you know,
Hey,
right?
there you go. There
You
you
ever
go.
seen a Clydesdale run?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but no, you know, but it's because of the challenge. Like I continue to want to challenge myself. I'm 48 years old. I've always said that I will definitively retire when I'm 55. And that was always my goal, always. So, and I'm on that track. And am I going to retire? No, I don't have that in my mindset.
I was gonna say what's.
But here's the thing, like it's because it's not about more, right? I mean, it can be. It's okay to be selfish and say I want more. But for me, it's not. And it's easy to say. Everybody's going to be like, well, it's easy to say. You got money. You're making money. You're doing this. Yeah, but I still work hard every day to do it. If I stop, the machine starts to slow down. Like, you know, I got to stay involved in it, right? But it's about the effort. It's about the accomplishment of I want to be the best in the world at doing what I'm doing. I want that recognition. And I'm not demanding it. I want people to say, that's Bobby Mesmer. He's the man. Like he's the guy in this industry. And I had that experience just recently. You know, somebody who's well known in the Instagram world, you know, and he also works in my end of the business. You know, he was like, I know who you are. And I'm like, that's what I'm striving for.
I'm just curious. How much of it is now that you have what you need? You got your '58 Bel Air Black, which is a beautiful car.
Oh, thanks.
It's not a 55, 56, 57. 58's awesome. It's a little long, but
Yeah.
now that you have all these material things, how much of it's giving back and being able to set up other people?
I think a lot of it, right? And that's where we talked about earlier. Like I want to give back to I want to give back to people in any way that I can. You know, we give back yearly to multiple charitable donations. You know, we do that. I'm very happy to do that. We're very selective with that though. You know, like I like to help kids. Kids can't help themselves. They didn't pick us, we picked them, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I think that's important. Giving back to help people expand their businesses, grow their business.
Well, that's kind of your, the private equity of being able to help other people.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
You know, the cars, you know, like, I mean, the cars that I have, I mean, those are, you know, collector pieces, you know, and they're, you know, I enjoy them. I enjoy driving them. You know, I don't want them to sit. But, you know, and I want people to enjoy them as well, you know, so we're looking for different opportunities to get them out there and show them to people or make them part of something. And so, yeah, I mean, the giving back side, my wife and I are starting a non-for-profit that we want to have focus on domestic violence, children and drug and alcohol rehabilitation.
Perfect,
So
yeah.
we're doing some focus there, especially because a lot of that ties into each other, like, you know,
Yeah,
the drug and alcohol and the domestic violence. So we want to help support that. And then my wife is getting involved in creating these domestic violence centers all throughout Tennessee. So that's her kind of thing that she's doing, and you know, she has my full support with that. So
Awesome.
we're looking to really expand our ability in the world and in our communities, and even just across the country, to help as much as we can, to give, you know, and not just through influence, through making the difference. You know, how do we
Yeah.
get to that point and make the difference? A lot of people talk and they're like, oh, well, you know, I want to help and I want to do it this way, but you know, and they limit themselves. Like, how do we see through the difference? You know, see it through to the end.
Right. That's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Any goals to hit by your 50? By your 50th?
Yeah, hit $1 billion.
In revenue, or?
Yeah, a billion, and yeah, we're knocking on the door. We're going to be knocking on the door in the next 2 years on $1 billion in total revenue. Yeah. So I definitely, that's my goal, is to hit that. And
Any specific plans for your 50th?
not yet.
I went skydiving on mine. So.
Did you?
Yeah, my daughter took me skydiving.
Yeah. How'd you like it?
I'd never do it again.
No?
But,
Why not? You don't like it?
I get motion sickness.
Okay.
And I was doing okay until he goes, hey, we got to drop down a little faster. I go, do you mind? I go, well, do what you got to do, right? It's like all of a sudden he started spinning.
Ugh.
And I was like, whoa. I was great on the free fall. I was like, oh, this is awesome. The wind. I was like, I'm looking at Mexico. We did it down San Diego. I was like, this is awesome. And then he did the spin thing. And I was like, oh, lost me. Lost me right there.
Yeah, that's I could see how that
And
would.
we took my dad to Fontana Raceway, and we put him in the truck where he could drive.
Yeah.
He did like 30 laps, 10 laps in 3 different vehicles.
He had to love that, didn't he?
He was, yeah, he was.
Yeah,
on fire.
that's a dream, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's every boy's dream. Get into a car and do some laps and drive fast.
I did 10 laps as a ride along, and I don't know if you ever been on the right side of a NASCAR, but you're really close to that wall, and you're not in control.
Yeah.
So I was just like sitting there going, oh, I mean, that wall was, because the guy's like, hey, do you want to get close to the wall? I go, you're driving. And he goes, whoo, sucked right up. And I'm like, oh, that wall's like right there. So.
It's being in a race car and getting close up to the wall, or in any capacity, even when you're doing sports car racing. I mean, it's the exhilaration that you feel.
Were you on ovals, or did you do?
So I did a little bit of both. Mainly I was sports car.
Okay.
So finished out my career in prototypes, and I actually own my own prototype team. We have 3 prototype cars, and
Nice.
so I did a lot of both. I did a lot of engineering and testing of cars, tire testing, brake testing, suspension, car setup, because of my engineering background that I have. So I was very valuable to teams for setup of different tracks. I really loved the educational aspect, training drivers.
Okay.
So like, you know, so I did some training of some junior NASCAR drivers that would, you know, were working their way up, and
Yeah, in the
say they were
trucks or whatever.
ARCA and in the truck series, and then they would have to go and do a road course. Well, you know, they're not really geared towards road courses, so you know, I would do some training. I really like that. Like I like that, and I like training the younger generation. I found that very, very enjoyable. You know, just these kids who are wanting to, you know, make this a career, and the guidance and the way that they just listen, and they're like, you know, and it's just, I don't know, I just found that very rewarding.
I've interviewed a couple future NASCARs, and an ARCA guy he's struggling, but he's doing all right.
Yeah, it's a hard business.
It's a lot of need sponsors.
Yes, sponsors are the only way to do it. You know, even being independently wealthy, you know, it's you can't just do it on your own.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's a lot of money. I mean, you know, I mean the truck series now, what it's I bet you they're spending to be in the front runner of the pack probably 150,000 a race.
Yeah.
34 races a year. So do the math.
Yeah,
You know, so one driver has to come with, you know, $5 million to pay the team to be, you know, to be
competitive.
to be a driver and be competitive.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
And not a lot of press on the truck series.
Not a lot of press on the truck series. Not a lot of press on the still the Xfinity series.
Yeah.
You know, the Cup series. Clearly, they have it all, but still, I mean, but the sponsors are drying up too.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's the companies out there don't see an intrinsic value because the viewer base is down, and it has been down,
Yeah.
and so they're struggling to bring in all this money, and that's why now you're starting to see the cars are split up now with a multitude of sponsors. You know what I mean? As opposed to used to be just one big one. Now it's so you had your NASCAR series sponsors on the door, and then you had one big one, and then you had some of your team sponsors that would go on the back rear quarter panels. Now you're starting to see 5 sponsors all split up around the car who are splitting the cost of the car for that weekend. And so it's a tough. I don't envy the guys that are in the business doing it. Yeah. Is there money to be made in that business? Sure. Everybody says no, but there is money to be made, but it's extraordinarily difficult anymore.
I don't envy that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, we did well. When I had my team, Iron Wheel Racing, we did well, and and then some health issues, which is why I retired actually officially, and because I had to make a choice, right? Yeah. It was one of those situations, and but we did well. We had sponsors. We had what we called program sponsors. So these were like tire sponsors, brake sponsors, things like that. So we didn't have to put out the money to buy those things, because we were being sponsored.
Product sponsors,
yeah, basically the product sponsors. Yep.
Yeah, we do that in the rodeo world too.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's entry fees. Yeah, and they have to. I mean, they have to pay for the horses. They have to pay for their vet, their feed, everything in between. Yeah. Saddles, ropes, everything.
And the product makes a. I bet you they do a lot of product sponsors, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably more than that than it is monetary because they get winnings.
That's right.
So they're getting paid through winnings, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So they want to.
But just like if they don't place, they get zero.
Yeah.
So they're out all that money. They just travel to the gas. I mean.
Yeah.
Food, everything else.
Yeah. So those guys are tough though, man.
Yeah.
Those rodeo guys.
I don't envy them either. Some are happy.
No, they get beat up hard.
Yeah, I had a friend that was in his wedding, a bull rider, gets down, bull cracks his head open. He's wearing a cowboy hat, not a helmet, because that's how old school guys did it. It's cracked open his head, so he gets stitched up, and they said, you got to wear a helmet because we don't want you bleeding all over. So he starts wearing the helmet, but now he's not placing because the face mask wouldn't let him go all the way down the way he was used to, so he said the angle was just off. So then he popped his knee. Because when he got bucked off, and now he's like, "Hey, come out to my place, get on a bull." And I'm like, no,
I'm good. I'll watch you.
I watched you get hurt. I don't need.
The closest I'll do is I'll run into the ring and slap it on his ass and run away.
Really
that's
fast.
About the end.
Well, I interviewed one of my friends, JJ Harrison. He's a clown. He's a professional clown. A bullfighter clown. I'm like, no, he has a master's in English, and that's what he loves to do, though.
It's a thrill.
Yeah.
It's a thrill. He's after the adrenaline rush.
This guy in the Coors bucket, I'm like, no, I don't want anything to do with that.
Right. And he loves it, right?
Loves it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love guys like that,
How have you balanced, like, you're traveling a lot, and your wife is doing her own thing. How many discussions do you have about balance?
Oof, a lot.
Okay.
A lot.
So my wife's not that special.
Yeah, no, it's a lot, and it's more because of some of the health stuff that I have going on, and because it's a lot of talk about slowing down a little bit or what that looks like because of that. But it's always been a lot, and I mean, even when her and I met, like me and my wife, this is both our second marriage for both of us. So even when we met, I was traveling a lot, so we both knew getting into it.
Right.
We knew what the dynamic was, but you make a life with somebody and you want to spend that time with that person, right? And so, and I, I love her, she loves me, we want to be together, but it's hard, but you do this for the greater good of it. And my commitment was always, again, the 55 thing, right? Yeah. So we just need to work this out until 55. After that, I'm going to stay home and I'm going to drive you absolutely insane.
And she'll go, don't you have something to do today?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my plan. So literally to drive her as insane as I can, because she should be at the moving up in the high point of her stuff that she's doing. And so now I'm going to be like, hey babe, what's going on?
Hey, can I help you out?
It's yeah, right. She won't let that, No, I'm good. We're good there. But no, look, it's it's the sacrifice that we make, right? Like we all have our obligations, and you know, you talk about as a man, right? Like what you're supposed to do. And I'm supposed to be the provider. I'm supposed to be the protector. I'm supposed to do all these things and create security for my family. And that's what I'm doing. And so I don't want them to want for anything. I don't want them to need for anything. And I want to be in that position to make sure that they're always safe and secure no matter what. And that's what I do. And my wife on the flip side, you know, she has her role, you know what I mean, as a woman and as a wife, and she understands that. And so, you know, it gets skewed, right? Like, you know, you get into those arguments, you know, and it's like, you know, can you be home more? And so you try to move it and you try to migrate it as much as you can, and you find the balance. And it's hard because there's just no easy solution to it. Especially when you're driven and you're trying to be the best that you can be at something. There's just no easy solution, and sometimes it's hard choices.
Do you take her with you on some?
I do, yeah, a lot more.
For example, my wife is always available when I have to go to Hawaii for my job.
Oh, of course she is. Who wouldn't be?
I don't know.
Can I be married to you?
I don't even tell her what days I'm going, and she goes, "I'm available."
Yeah,
but you know,
it's
Dallas in summer. She's busy.
Right, exactly. But if you went to Key West for some reason, right?
She'd be available.
Yeah, she'd be available. Yeah, she does. She's going to start to travel with me a little bit more. You know, she is a little bit more involved in in the company now. So she has an active role there along with all the other stuff that she's doing. And it's a role that I need her to fill. She's very, very good at it. And I'm just not, you know, she's filling the chief of staff role, for the company. And, you know, so she's advising me with stuff, but she deals with the staff and the people. And I'm just, you know, I'm very good with people, but she's better at that piece of it, right? Yeah. You know, and but she comes to the New Jersey office with me on occasion. So I think she's going to start traveling with me 1 week a month.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So because I split my time now. We have all the multiple offices, but typically I'm in the New Jersey office every other week and in the Tennessee office every other week. So normally like Monday to Thursday I'm in New Jersey, and then the next week I'm in Tennessee, and then the following week I'm in Monday to Thursday in New Jersey. So one of those weeks she'll start traveling.
Okay, I mean this sincerely. How do you have a calendar in both places? I'm asking because I like my wife. I'm like, oh, I've got this week, and I'm going to Denver this week, and I'm in Dallas next week, and then you know, and she's like, you never told me that, and I'm like, I know I told you that. Like it's been on my calendar for a month.
Yeah. So we have. I'm an Apple guy, so we use Apple, and so it's a shared calendar, right? There you go. And so we have, so I have two executive assistants, one that works out of the national office, one that works out of the New Jersey office, and they act as general managers of those offices too. So it's kind of like a dual role, but everybody has access to my travel schedule. So there's an RMG schedule, which is company wide. There's my home schedule, which only certain people get. And then there's what's called Bobby travel. So everybody knows where Bobby's at. And then, you know, and it just kind of goes on from there. So that's how we kind of manage it. And it's kind of like, all right, here's what's going on. And then we sync up, you know, with the stuff with my wife, you know, she'll tell me what's important to be at. And I know, and you know, after years of marriage, you're like, you know, you see something like, oh, back to school night for Lucas. All right, well, I know I need to be there, even though he's 17, you know, and it's like, you know, he's a junior in high school. It's like, I think I need to be there for that one, you know, because otherwise I'm going to get in trouble.
I've had many of those arguments. Yeah. Discussions.
They never go away.
They really don't. My daughter's getting married at the end of next month. And
congratulations.
Yeah. So I did the dress pickup yesterday, and all the things you got to add into your schedule.
Yeah. You make it happen. Yeah. You know, you do. You have to, you make it happen. You make it work. And because as much as it's all perspective, right? And perception, because as much as it may look like you're not there, you're actually there a lot too, you know, and that's the thing, you know, when you really count out the days, it's like, you know, all right, well, I'm gone 40 days out of 360, you know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about, you know, or whatever it is, right? Or, you know, whatever that number equates to. So, but, you know, and when you're there for all the important stuff, you know, that's what matters, you know?
I totally agree. I mean, pre-COVID, I was on the road about 150 days a year, so about half. And then I started interviewing other Musicians are much worse. Much worse. I mean, they're 250 to 300 days a year on the road.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's 10 months.
Yeah.
So,
A lot. Yeah, traveling takes the best. Yeah, everybody thinks it's glamorous.
yeah.
I've told that to people for years. I was like, traveling is not glamorous in any capacity. I'm like, I will switch with you any day of the week. You know, the hotels, and I mean, and everybody's like, yeah, but now it's like, oh, well, you're flying private, and I'm like, yeah, but it's still, I'm traveling, man. Like, I'm, because look, at the end of the day, I still miss my family. It goes back to that.
It's not your bed.
Right. It's not your bed. It's not your pillow.
It's not your kitchen.
Right. Right. I'm eating out all the time, getting fat,
That was my last question. Is how do you stay in shape? I mean, you're a big guy and you're doing well staying in shape.
You do the best that you can.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just you try to make the best conscientious choices. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
So when we're on the road, like I go back to the Albany trip last week, like we stopped at Jimmy John's to grab sandwiches because that was the only option. It's in, it's out. We're in meetings, we're moving, like we're doing and so, it's better. I'm not going to stop at McDonald's or anything like that. So you try to make the best choices and you try to do the best you can, and keeping yourself busy, you tend not to eat. Like I haven't eaten all day today, to be honest with you. So, and I feel fine, but because I'm busy, my mind's busy. I got things going on, and it's one thing after the other, and I'm okay with that. So I'll eat tonight and I'll be great.
I'll be hangry with other people.
Yeah. That's it. You know what I mean? Get the little hangriness out. And, I try not to get too hangry. My wife says it all the time. She's like, I need to feed you. When I'm quiet, she's like, that's when she knows.
I have moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like that this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm always like, you need to eat something. So I'm the same way. It's like, if I get busy, I'm like, I'll worry about that later.
Yeah. Yeah. It's if I'm not starving,
Do you have any workout regimen that you try and do?
Not anymore. Again, it's with some of the stuff I'm dealing with. I'm kind of laying low key. Okay. But I used to work out just 3 days a week. I used to be heavy into it years and years ago. I mean, back in my 20s.
Sure.
But now, I want to get back into it. So it's a slow progression. And, right now I say everybody's like, wow, man, you must be working out all the time. I'm like, nah, I'm just Polish. I'm just Polish, you know what I mean? So
my wife will be happy. She has some Polska or something. She got some Polish shirt. She's from Detroit, and there's some Polish dish that she used to eat, and somebody made a meme T-shirt out of it. She couldn't believe it, so she bought it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I have no idea what it says.
She's Polish, obviously.
Yeah. So I still can't say it.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. No, I think the Polish heritage keeps me to my size. Other than that, I don't know where I get it from, to be honest with you. So.
Well, I appreciate the time. Super busy guy.
Yeah.
Welcome to LA.
Thanks for having me. This has been great.
Yeah.
I really, really, really appreciate your time and bringing me on.
So keep busy.
I'm going to.
There you go, buddy.
We need to circle up again here soon and get you some status updates on this.
I'll get you out of the Tacovas.
Okay. Send me a nice pair of Stetsons.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't think I've ever put in a pair of Stetsons on my feet, so I'll be interested to see how they feel.
They'll feel great.
Okay. I believe you. Prove it.
Done. Thanks for your time, though.
Excellent. Thank you.